Hey guys, it's Stephanie.
I'm Trey.
This is your weekly dose of BS. Oh my God, I cannot believe January's almost over.
I know. Wow, what a year it's been so far.
I mean,
terrible.
Really, it's
not going great.
been the best year. I will tell you that. It's like I feel like just one thing after another happens in the world. I'm ready for the world to be boring. I'm ready for life to be
off to a
boring.
great start.
Yes. I have like such a crazy February too. First of all, we're going on our trip soon, which is going to be so fun. And then not to give too much of my child's life away, but my kid has surgery towards the end of that trip. So I have that. So I'm like, that's going to be 2 weeks that I'm kind of helping him recover. Anyways, it's just a lot. I'm ready for March.
For March?
I need March to get here. What are you doing for Valentine's Day? Oh, and my kid's like surgery. I don't know what, Travis. I really should figure out our Valentine's Day. We're going to be not in Dallas because the surgery is going to be in Arizona. And my mom's going to help kind of with everything. But like my child's post-op appointments on Valentine's Day. Nothing says I love you. Like
Post-op.
Yeah, the post-op appointment. So, I don't know, maybe I'll just like order room service with Travis. I don't know. We're still trying to figure out where to stay. I wanted to be in charge. I gave him some really good options. And then, we're kind of in between like staying at a hotel versus a VRBO.
Oh,
and
why?
Well, because Travis is always thinking about money and a VRBO is probably more cost effective, right?
I don't think they are.
The reason I would rather stay in a hotel is because if you stay in a hotel, especially for, somebody who just got out of surgery, you have like full, you have round the clock room service. You have people who are kind of like, you just get
like
more
full
of like
service.
a service. I do too. And I think for my son who's going to be healing, like, if he wants ice cream or if he wants chicken noodle soup at an odd hour of the night, I would rather just make it easy for him as well to where he's but I mean, I guess worse. And also like, then you have to rent a car. You have to do,
and I feel like after you pay a cleaning fee, like it's really not cheaper than a hotel.
Yeah, no, it's.
Unless you're going with like a big group of people.
There'll be 4 of us total. Because Cruz is staying here with my father's coming in. So Cruz will still be here because he can't miss that much school. But
who's the fourth person?
My mom.
Oh.
Me, Travis, and then my mom. And
I think you should get a hotel.
No, I do too. But also, I need us to be somewhat close together. It's hard. They don't have a lot of like bigger rooms where we're like suites. But they do have like a W, and the W hotel has residences, and you can get like a 2-bedroom residence and rent it, and it's not ungodly expensive, but it's just getting it done. So I did all the legwork for Travis, and I gave him a list, and he wants to be the one that like does it, but I'm like, dude, do it, or we're gonna, yeah. But yeah, I'm not a big VRBO person. I know people who really are. It's not my favorite thing. Like if I travel, I
like I don't like to think about like my bed being made. Yeah. Or like washing
going
towels.
And buying groceries, washing towels, cooking. I think if you're one of those, if you're with a big group and you guys want to like cook and do all that stuff together and just really hang out at the house, that's one thing. But if not, I would rather just sleep there. I love like having a bar at the hotel, right? Like somebody making your drinks, I guess, like we're not going to be hanging out at the bar during this time. But
during his surgery.
Yeah. Maybe we will. I don't know. Just kidding. We're not. But I think like the room service and everything else is just such a nice.
I've only had one great experience in like an Airbnb type situation. We went to Barcelona last year, and their rooms, like hotel rooms, are like pretty small.
Yeah.
And they don't have amazing hotels. So one of Zach's friends found a really great Airbnb, like right on the main strip, right above like the Chanel store. And I was like, we're in, we're great. And it was awesome.
It was amazing.
Like there were 4 bedrooms and there were 4 of us. Like it was perfect. But that's my only like great time. I think like if you're in Europe, some of those are great, but you have to be in a really good location.
No, I mean, we like whenever we go to Paris, Travis and I stay at what was like Ron's, but now we're like took over the payments. So we're like sharing this apartment with Ron. Don't ask. But like I like staying in places like that because it's very convenient. But I would also equally love staying at a hotel. But Mexico is very different too, though, because Mexico, I think you can get like rentals, like VRBOs, and they come with like if you go to Mexico and you like rent a house, usually it comes with like a chef and you have all these like amenities. That's different because it's almost like having more space. But yeah, it's like a all inclusive, like your own private hotel. But yeah, I agree. I don't know. But we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Travis sent me this one picture of this one like house on like Airbnb or VRBO, and it's by this like very famous architect. And he was like, "What about this?" But it looked like the coldest, like it did not look cozy. You know what I'm saying? I put myself in my son's shoes and I said, "Is this the kind of place I would like to?" It looked very cold. Does it make sense? Like the furniture looked uncomfortable. The whole house looked uncomfortable, but very cool. And I was like, would I want to stay here and recover? Would I feel, is it a comfortable place? And it was very like, it was almost like a concrete, like jungle type house. It was like in the hills. It was beautiful, but it was very, it looked like something like Kim Kardashian's house. Like it's very cold looking.
Sterile.
It's very sterile. And I was like, I got what he was saying, but I was like, no, thank you. Let's stay somewhere that's like, that at least feels comfortable. Like that our kid could sit down on a couch and not, be sitting straight up on like a hard foam that looks cool. But yeah, so I have that. And then, so that'll be my what are you guys doing for Valentine's Day?
I don't know. I need to plan something.
Who plans? Is it usually you, Zach, or you guys do it together?
Usually me.
You, okay.
I'm the romantic one.
Are you do you feel like you're the romantic one in your relationship?
Yeah, for like 1.5%.
Like in what way? Like how?
Every way.
Say you versus Zach romantic. Like how
like
you would say?
I'm more thoughtful, I guess.
Okay, and like how?
Like I don't know, just like the little details I like look at more. Zach probably overthinks too much to where then it doesn't. I don't know. I'm just better at it. If I like, I'm good. I'm good at what I do. So for
like
Christmas
gift
this past
wise,
year,
who's better, you
me.
or Zach?
Me.
Now, how do you guys do gifts? Do you guys tell each other like what I want, or do you guys just totally surprise each other?
I just kind of like know what he wants.
Okay, and he knows what you want. Do you tell him what you want?
He doesn't really know what I want.
Does he buy you things that you want?
Yeah, I mean, I like have like a running list that I just like keep up all year long on Giftful. So like he has resources to check.
You tell him like I like these things.
Yes.
Okay, that's. I think that's really smart. Okay,
but I'm also hard to shop for because like I'll have stuff on that list that I'm like I'm just gonna buy it for myself.
Yeah.
So he has to be aware of like that could be gone because I could already have it in my closet. So I was so prepared for Christmas this year. I started shopping in like September.
Oh my!
And I bought gifts, especially for him. I started early, and my dad, and I bought these things and I hid them from him, obviously, and turns out myself because I was cleaning out my office closet the other day and I found 4 different gifts, 2 for my dad and 2 for Zach that were for Christmas that I did not give them, and so I thought I knew what they were. And so it was my dad's birthday a few weeks ago. So I wrapped up a few of these gifts and gave them to my dad. My dad opened them and he was like, I don't think this is for me because he opened it and it was a Versace box. And I was like, oh, it's
you're
not
like,
for you.
No, this is not. Nope.
So my dad sent a picture to Zach and was like, yeah, I don't think this is mine. And Zach was like, what was that? And I was like, oh, it was one of your Christmas gifts I forgot. And he was like, well, where is it? And I was like, well, it's now a Valentine's gift.
Oh, so you already have Valentine's done.
And he was like, that's not fair. He was like, you can't cheap out on my Valentine's gift. And I was like, well, I already got you something at least.
Oh, see, I haven't bought anything for Travis for Valentine's Day yet. I need to figure it out. Travis is like great at gifts usually, but I also think a lot of times he'll just go to you and say, hey, what do I get Stephanie? He's not been as...
Which I appreciate. I'm like...
not been as great lately as he usually is.
Because he hasn't been asking.
Because he hasn't been asking, yes. Like I can tell like he has a lot on his mind because he's not usually he's very good at gifts.
No, but here's the thing is
lately,
he'll call and he's like, what does she want? And I'll tell him. And then he's like, well, that's... And I'm like, listen, you asked.
Don't ask.
You asked.
Don't ask.
If you call... That's what it costs. That's what she wants.
Yes.
You didn't give me parameters.
Yeah. But
and then usually he softens up and he's like,
okay, I'll do it. Yes. But usually he's pretty good. Like he's very good at gifts. But I always know that I always know it's Trey that kind of tells him what to do. But he's not always really good at making reservations. Like I think is so busy he'll forget about it until like a week before. And then he's like scrambling. But then I am pretty old fashioned, and I feel like the man should make the Valentine's Day reservations. Like
Yeah, I
I want
agree.
him to
Yeah.
take me out, and because I think Valentine's Day is mostly a holiday for, your husband to show you how much they love you and appreciate
I
you.
agree.
Right? Yes. So I want him to like surprise me and just like roll out the red carpet, have like a very hard to get reservation, or like you can even make me dinner, but it better be something you really try hard. I don't want to just like, don't buy at Costco, macaroni and cheese and stick it in the oven. Like you need to make that macaroni and cheese yourself. Like you have to put effort in.
Yes.
Like I feel the older I get, I think I'm more about effort, right? So, and that's one thing that he's not really great at. So my cousin is his assistant. So I need to call her and be like, listen, Valentine's Day is coming up, and these are 5 restaurants that, in this town that I would like to go, because I have a built-in babysitter. My mom's going to be there. So I'm like, we could at least go to dinner or something. But yeah Valentine's Day is going to be very different. But usually that's what I like. I like him to make the thing.
And see, it's not that Zach's not romantic. He just doesn't like think to be thoughtful.
Well, that's not his love language, probably. Like, I think people do what their love language is, right? Like, so Travis he's very comfortable with gifts to show he loves you, right? So Zach, I think, is probably like there's something that he does that's, like he's very organized. I don't know. Like, I don't know what does he do love language wise to you?
He is more, I think his giving love language is more like quality of time and acts of service. So I think that's like you give love the way that you receive love. No.
Same with me. Like my love language is very different than what Travis likes to give me. But he's he's comfortable with gifts. But what I love, guess what my love language is?
Quiet time.
No.
Words of affirmation.
Yeah. Mine is words of affirmation. And he's not really good at words of affirmation as much as he is gift giving. But I'm like, you could save so much money if you just told me how lovely and wonderful I was all the time.
He got her, what was it, your birthday gift this last year? She came home, I think it was your birthday gift, right? We got that Louis Vuitton bag.
Yeah, that was a really good gift. I mean, that was really.
I was like, I called him and I was like, are you rich or something? Because what he spent on that was abnormal. Like nowhere.
It was really good.
Close to
but you have to
normal
realize that I also went and picked that out. You know what I'm saying? Like he took me shopping. He said, "Here you go."
But
he's
even
also
then,
a sucker for things that are on sale, and it was a pretty bit, like probably 20-25%, because we were overseas. It was much cheaper there than the U.S. And also, I don't think he really got me anything for Christmas the year before this year.
No, whenever I called, he was like, well, I didn't really get anything for Christmas. The anniversaries. So I was like, well, still, if I told him, like, hey, she wants this, he'd tell me to fuck right off.
Yeah, there's no way. There's no way. Yeah, there's no way. Also, I went into that Louis Vuitton. Like, Travis also it was very much my pretty woman moment. Did I tell you this?
No.
Okay. So Travis was with like all these, people that he was at this Harvard thing with, and one of them had a birthday. And
that's right. This was the trip you didn't really want to even go on.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't know a bunch of people, and like we were just going everywhere, and it was so long, right? And
it was like 3 weeks.
It was so long, and we were just bouncing everywhere. And then also part of it was like in Austria for this birthday thing. I didn't really know these people, and nobody was bringing their kids but us, so it just was kind of odd, right? So anyways, we go there, and Travis is, spending time with these people that live in different, like all these people that were there for this girl's birthday that, he never sees. And he was like, hey, will you go shopping and find like a scarf or something for the birthday girl, right? And I was like, oh yeah, I'll go. I'll just go to Louis Vuitton, get a scarf, whatever. And then he's like, oh yeah, and while you're there, like, if there's something that you like for yourself, like look, and then, we'll get you something for you, like a handbag or something for your birthday. And I'm like, perfect. Got it. So I go into the Louis Vuitton there, and they, it's kind of like it is sometimes in Dallas and everywhere else where they like take your name, right? I'm with my 2 kids, and I'm one of the only people with 2 kids, right? That have my children in there with me. And, I'm wearing my sweats. So they probably think this bitch is not spending any money. She is just here with her children annoying us.
Just trying to kill time.
So, yeah, it's killing time. And they're like, do you want to be helped? I said, yes. So they put my name down. And when I tell you I was there for like 45 minutes to an hour and nobody would help me, I am not exaggerating. Like, no one would help me in that store. I must have looked like, somebody who they did not think was worth helping, right? So anyway, so finally I called Travis and I was like, I can't get her. And then I was like, you know what? I'll just go to Fendi and get a scarf there. And then their machines were down. But anyway, so Travis called and I was like, hey, I have literally tried for an hour and a half, almost 2 hours to get this girl a birthday gift. And I said, nobody would help me. And he was like, what do you mean? I said, I swear to you, I went into Louis Vuitton. You can ask the kids. And the kids were like, it was the kids were like, it was ridiculous. And there weren't that many people in Louis Vuitton. It wasn't like, crazy traffic, just no, and maybe, I don't know. But when I tell you I could not get helped, like I literally could not get helped. So then Travis we went to dinner that night and he told his friend who we were there for her birthday and she had bought her birthday outfit from Louis Vuitton. So she called her person, her little sales associate and was like, hey, my friend's wife could not get helped yesterday. She was in there for like an hour. Plus, can you... so anyways, I came in the next morning, I was like, let's just go as soon as they open so we can get some service. When I say that I came in and they rolled out the red carpet for me, I am not exaggerating. I walk in, they're like, oh, Miss Holman, they were definitely making up for it. And they had like champagne out. They were giving every handbag that was not out, like, for normal people to see, they were pulling them out. And one of them was this like really beautiful like robin's egg blue Himalayan bag. And it was probably one of the prettiest bags I've ever seen. Anyway, so I was looking at it and there was this other one, this pink one that I honestly was like an ostrich. And I really was looking at that one when I couldn't get helped. But it did cost Travis more. But like I think Travis also bought it because he was like, kind of proving a point. Like, you maybe should help people.
Great.
Don't
I
judge
think
a
he
book
should
by
prove
its
a
cover
point
next.
at Hermes. I think he should prove a point at Cartier. I think
yes, and I got
many points can be proved.
all the things. But I don't think I would get that nice of a bag if I would have gotten help. So the Lord works in mysterious ways, is what I'm saying. And sometimes when you have something and you're like, this is crap, this is ridiculous, and you can't get helped and like things just aren't going your way and you spend 2 hours of your life trying to find a scarf and nobody will help you find one, then just know that maybe it's because the next day you're going to go in and you're going to get something even better. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Amen.
yeah.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. In 2025, maybe you're ready for a plot twist, or maybe there's a part of your story that you've been wanting to revise. Life isn't all about resolutions that fade by February. It's about picking up the pen and becoming the author of your own life. Think of therapy as your editorial partner, helping you write new chapters and create a meaningful story that you deserve to live.
Oh, yes. You know what? That's something that I want to do. I was thinking about like New Year's resolutions. I don't like New Year's resolutions because, let's be honest, I never stick with them. But what I would like to do this year is just like really like, start like a gratitude journal. So, like writing down things that I'm grateful for, because I can be kind of that person who's like glass is a little empty, and instead of looking at how full my life is. And also just all this stuff going on in the world can be really depressing. So this year I have watched less news so far. That's my thing, because I was realizing also I would get on and I would kind of marinate in like horrible things going on in the world and people around us. And then I am an empath, so then I would take it on myself. But I just want to like focus more on the good and less on all the chaos around. Because there's so much good around it. I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in like what's going wrong in our life that we forget what's going right.
Well, and you just touched on it, but I know something you learned in therapy was that you're such an empath. And being an empath, you kind of sponge other people's problems or the world's problems and take them on as your own. And when that sponge gets full, what do you do? That's where you have to wring it out and say, okay, no, this isn't necessarily my life. And you've learned ways to cope with that. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable, convenient, and serving over 5 million people worldwide. You have access to a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties. It's easy to switch therapists at any time with no additional cost, just in case you don't like yours.
Write your story with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/weeklydose today to get 10% off of your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/weeklydose.
Oh my gosh, I have to tell you, yesterday, well, I already told you, I'm really bad about, like, Stephanie's actually really good about, she'll save something to tell me whenever we start recording, and I just call her and tell her, and I'm like, oh, wow. So now I'm just going to tell y'all.
Okay.
So yesterday, I'm at my office, and we're having an office meeting, and I get a call from Zach's boss, and I was like, what? And so I didn't answer it, and I texted him, I was like, hey, is this your boss's number? And he starts sending me, like, all these, like, random, like, numbers and like letters and then like a sheriff's name. And I was like, what is this? And so she texts me and is like, hey, everything's okay, but call Zach. And I was like, oh gosh, what? And so I step outside and he's like, hey, did you sign something for me on December 2nd? And I was like, no. And he's like, something was delivered to the house on December 2nd and someone signed my signature for it. Was it you? I was like, no. And he was like, okay. I was like, well, what is it? He's like, well, there's 3 warrants out for my arrest.
Oh, my God. Okay.
And I was like, oh, for what? And he was like, there was a grand jury summons delivered to our house that they're saying I signed for. And I didn't show up to be on this jury. And now I'm going to be arrested. And someone just called me and said that they went to my office and I wasn't there. And they're trying to find me, asked me where I was, told them I'm running errands. So, like, you're not going to find me now. But they told me that I had to like report to this address, which the address they gave was the Dallas County Jail. And said you need to, there's going to be this fine. There's going to be this is what bail's going to cost you. So bring cash and like come, you'll be detained and arrested and then you can bail out. And he was like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, my first thought was call Travis Holman because he knows what to do in those situations because he's a real adult and he knows people that knows people. Adult. Yep. That's just how my head works. And so I immediately show my friend Justin, who's sitting across from me while we're having this meeting, like Zach's text messages, and he just starts Googling. And he's like, when did he get, because Zach just got back from a trip to Louisiana. He was like, when did he get back? I was like, last night. And he was like, well, if there was a federal warrant out for his arrest, they would have arrested him at the airport. Or like if his toll tag hits the tollway, they would arrest him. Like they would know where he is and arrest him. And like, so that just seems kind of weird that they're calling him. So we're doing all this research. I'm still like panicking that like Zach's got to go to jail. And I'm like, he doesn't like to be photographed as it is. He's really going to be pissed off when he sees how bad the mugshot lighting is. Yeah. This is not going to be good for me, mostly because he's just going to be annoyed the rest of the day and I'm going to have to deal with it. I'd rather him stay in jail. And he's going to blame you because he's going to be like, I know. I was like, I did nothing. This had nothing to do with me. Yes. And thankfully I went and looked at my calendar on December 2nd. I had a day full of things. I was like, I wasn't even home. And I was like, check the Ring doorbell camera. And he was like, well, it wasn't charged. And I was like, well, and I've been asking him to charge that for a while. And I was like, this is a good reason to charge that. Yeah. So he still didn't charge it last night. But I'm reminding him again. I know. I'm like, well, you're going to go to jail if you don't charge him. So we're frantically researching. He calls his friend from back home whose dad is a police chief. And meanwhile, Justin and I are doing like scams that like, and how could this be a scam? But Zach was like, it wasn't like someone that sounded like they were like, out of the country in a call center. Like it sounded like it was a grapevine phone number. So it was like, he believed it. Come to find out, his friend was like, this person's going to call you back and they're going to say like, our cash system's down. So just wire the funds, wire the fine. Don't even turn yourself in. If you pay the fine, you're good to go. Sure enough, someone called back. He didn't answer. Zach's talking to his friend whose dad's a police chief. Is like, no, this is a scam. Call the city of Dallas. There's no warrant out for his arrest. But I was like, what would the odds be of, because I would sign for something. Yes, that came in Zach's name. You would. And I would get him arrested accidentally. And that's just like so on par. And I was like, it was definitely me. It was definitely me. Like, did you think it was you? No, or were you like, no. But I was like, well, you better show up next time. Oh my gosh. Thankfully it was a scam and he's not in jail. Oh my, whenever I was in high school, I had somebody call and this is a true story. And they were like, telling me that I needed to pay my hospital bill, right? And I was just like, oh, okay, I'll let my parents know. I think I may have been in college or so. I don't know, but I was young, right?
So like months and months later, my credit like score goes down a little bit. My dad's like, "What is going on here?" And we no, because we have something. I owe somebody money. That's what it is. I have something coming, saying I owe like $1,500 medical. It's a different Stephanie Hayes because my maiden name's Hayes, right? So, but we had to pay it. My parents had to pay it because they called me and I said, "Okay, I'll tell my parents to take care of it." Like we were on the hook, and it affected my credit.
But it was someone else?
It was somebody
Did you get
else's
that money
medical
back?
thing. No. My parents had to pay it. I do remember this being very true. But that's like the only thing. I do have like every day I get something from the National Total Tech Association saying I owe them money, but I don't think I owe them money. I think that it is a text scam where you click this thing and then it goes, because I'm like, first of all, no.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is also how I'm getting scammed. Well, it didn't work on me. So I got a weird package the other day at my front door from Temu, which is like China's Amazon.
Okay.
And I've never ordered anything. I don't have a Temu. I don't know what it really is other than like an Amazon. So I've never ordered anything from there. And so this package came, but it wasn't addressed to me, but it was addressed to my address. And I was like, well, that's weird. So I put it inside, and I was like, maybe someone will show up and ask for it. And then yesterday, my housekeeper brought in 2 more packages that were delivered for the same person from Temu, but had my address on it.
Okay.
And I was like, what is this? So I'm opening it on Instagram. And I'm like, it's just a bunch of like random stuff, like a bunch of bracelets, like a face trimmer, like a cheap watch. Like it was just like random stuff. And so people responded real quickly. My mom even like called me over this. And people were like, if there was something in there for you to scan, do not scan it. There's apparently this scam going around where they will send you random things, and then it says, like, scan this to see who sent it to you. And when you scan it, they get all the information in your phone.
No,
Yes.
I'm telling you. It's
And
crazy.
had it been like an Hermes package, I would have been like, well, actually, I don't really care who sent it. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Like,
just do what I do. When somebody sends me something, I have no idea who it's from. I just get on my Instagram story and
thank
say,
you so much.
whoever sent this, please let me know. Thank you. I had someone send me a mug, and it's a great mug. I have no idea who it's from to this day. And it says, the tears of my Mahjong players. Tears from my Mahjong opponents or something. It's great. I'm going to need to take it to our Mahjong trip. But I still have no idea who this cup's from. I mean, because here's the deal. Whenever you send stuff to people, usually, even if you have, asked to have a letter in there,
they do it half the time.
never do it. So, I have no idea. But, I'm still working on getting my Facebook back. And do I really, at this point, care that I get my Facebook back completely? I don't really use Facebook that much. But I do care that some weirdo has it.
Yeah.
So I was asked to be on a podcast. And I really do not like going on other people's podcasts and stuff or doing any interviews. I had to do it for a long time. It's just not my favorite thing because I feel like all they want to do is just get me in trouble with these girls that I used to work with, and I haven't worked with them for 5 years, so I'm trying to move on with my life. So anyway, but they knew enough about me. This is how good these scammers are. They knew enough about me to know that if they said it was about mental health, I'd probably be like, okay, right? And it was like this guy who like interviews all these. It was a legit podcast. Like I actually listened to an episode. I was like, okay. And they wanted to do an episode on mental health and have me on there. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And the weird thing was, and I thought it was weird, but then again, you and I have a podcast. We do it every Tuesday. I needed to do it within a 4-day period. And it was right before I was going out of town for Christmas. So I was like, reluctantly said, okay. So, and they worked through my manager on it also, not even through me. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. So then she tells me, hey, they need to meet with you beforehand to, to make sure that everything is going well on your end. And by the way, I live on a flood zone. My Wi-Fi there is horrible. When I did Watch What Happens Live during COVID, I went to Trey's house because I got so anxious about like my, having enough Wi-Fi to really make this work. So I'm like, okay, so I get everything, get my kids like gaming headsets because I have nothing, and get my computer. Thankfully, it was like a Holman employee computer that had firewalls up the wazoo, thankfully. And I really didn't use besides like my email. So I so they give me this link, like this Zoom link. So I get on and I'm seeing this person and so we're like, and he's mirroring my computer. Anyways, long story short, he has me go through the back end, has me change all these things around. At the end of it, he's like, hey, take your email thing off of this. Like it was, the back end of Facebook.
So did you see this person?
Yeah, I saw this person. Yeah, he was like, oh my goodness, like had like a more like an Indian accent, like, and he just seemed like their computer guru person, right? But I did think it was weird because he was like, oh, I see you. I have a lot more Instagram followers than Facebook followers. He was like, oh, they want to do a Facebook Live with you. And I'm glad I didn't say what I was thinking. I was like, well, that's weird. They should. First of all, I thought it was a podcast. Second of all, I never get on Facebook, especially live. Third of all, like, why wouldn't they want to do an Instagram Live? Like, that's where most of the people that follow me are. This makes no sense. But I went along with it. So anyways, long story short, during that, they were scammers. And the guy kind of had me so confused where he had me take off like myself off of my owning Facebook page, my like public profile Facebook page. And he said, wait 24 hours and then log back on. Everything should be good, right? So in those 24 hours, they like completely took me off. So anyways, I am still to this day working on getting it back. And it didn't bother me. I was like, oh, well, I'll just let it go. Like, it's fine. Until they put on there that I opened up Holly's Salon and Day Spa and that to let people know if they need help with cryptocurrency. And I was like, oh no, these fools are using my account to scam these people that follow me. And then I got so nervous because I was like, shit, these people, because unfortunately I do talk about crypto on the podcast. It does kind of
tracks.
Yeah. And also like, how ridiculous am I? I was also mortified the way they wrote it. Congratulations to me and my success of opening my first spa, Holly's. I was like, oh my God, I seem like such a ridiculous person who's like, yeah, cheers to me and my successes in life. Oh my gosh. So, and at the end of it, it was like, and if you'd like help with cryptocurrency, let me know. Like now I'm a cryptocurrency guide. I was dying. Longest hour of my life.
Too far off.
Oh yes. So I called Trey. I was like, hey, do you have any way to get in? So I'm still.
Yeah, they removed me too.
Yeah, I'm still working on this. But it just goes to show you there's so many scams and they're very elaborate.
Yeah.
You have to be really careful, like very, very careful. Like, for example, if it's like if I answer the phone, a call and it's from somebody I do not know and they're like, hello, I don't say like this is Stephanie. I don't tell them my name. I don't say this is Stephanie because I also heard they can use like your
the
voice.
Stuff
you say to like scam other people. But Lord help us. Other than that,
we're surviving.
We're getting scammed, and so you guys don't have to.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much for listening and supporting. You can follow me at Steph Holman on Instagram, Facebook, and I don't know if TikTok's there anymore. We're doing this a little early because Trey's going to be in
don't
Paris,
follow her on Facebook either. Just follow her on Instagram.
Well, maybe no, not Facebook. I'll let you know. I'll let you know about Facebook. But right now, don't follow me on Facebook, and don't go to my Holly's Salon and Day Spa.
And you can follow me at Trey_Stewart. You can follow our podcast, ABS Podcast, and you can watch us on YouTube at We Could Also BS.
Bye.